Yes, so it's a pretty dramatic name for my presentation because it was pretty hard to find something to actually talk about. And as you maybe seen on social medias, I talk a lot about the stuff with music. So this is easier to talk about like on Instagram. So for this one, I chose to talk about another part of my job. So when I started TouchDesigner and I discovered it a bit like it's going to be 5 years ago in August, so I don't know if it warrants a cake, but maybe I hope so. I just put it out there. Damn. So Greg is going to send me one, I hear. Okay. Um, so yeah, when I discovered TouchDesigner, obviously I was doing electronic music. It was really fun to like create visuals, and I was working my day job as a graphic designer and art director. So immediately when you go from After Effects quarter resolution and your playhead going like that to 60 frames per second, and it's like you're doing 10,000 times as much, it's immediately brings some ideas and some concept like should I be using TouchDesigner for like other stuff than music? So uh, it's going to be pretty redundant question, but my question was like, is TouchDesigner actually like a designer's tool? And I guess a lot of people here come from maybe development, maybe engineering, light designers. So it was pretty intimidating from a graphic designer that failed at like learning processing, learning P5JS. It didn't abstract in the way I worked. So it was pretty intimidating to get on the forums and ask questions. So I decided to just stick to my part and search on my own. But working with my creative director at the agency I worked at for like 6-7 years, we had like rules for tools. Are the tools like going to fit into the workflows, into like obviously when you're doing stuff for luxury brands, big budget, you need to it's not possible to create just a visual and then the client asks for like change this color and you say I don't really know where this color is coming from actually, but so you need to comply to some rules. First rule was actually fast iteration cycle. When you are into production and you're asked something like to change a font on a book, you need to be able to change it in like half an hour, 20 minutes. Otherwise, you're just wasting time and wasting resources. So is it something that TouchDesigner works well in? For this, I want to show a project with Doralis, who's just up there, which is you should hire her. She's a great motion designer, and it was actually really great to work with her on this project. So for this one, it's like what's really interesting, we're using TouchDesigner to separate the content from the form. So it's really fast to iterate on either of those concepts. If we have an animation that works, so this is actually for a reference, it was at Théâtre Mogador. It was a brand show, a brand award show. So like all the different, they didn't want to disclose the winners like until some days before. So you need to work without any of the content. Or stuff that will, like you can ask, I was pretty stressed up. Like last minute you had some changes. Actually like some person want to change the slides by themselves. So you need to like put a Bluetooth controller and to set up a way that they can change the slide by themselves. So the TouchDesigner enabled us to just put a 3D space and have all the content around and actually just pan a camera and everything is controlled by this interface on the left side, which enables us to just preview the content that is coming. And actually each slide is just a geo comp that we change all the content into. It has all the animation and then we switch the content. So if we need just some content, we can change the content without having to, like there's no render time, which from a design perspective, it's just game changer. It's you can have even live shows, 10 minutes. Some clients ask me like, how late can I give you the content? And it's like on the day, like during the event, you can just change the content, which is actually a commercial key point selling stuff with TouchDesigner. Um, so for this, I think that fast iteration cycle is, yeah, it's just obvious. Second thing, when you work also with the team is how can you easily share your project. So when you have a whole industry that's built around just one software developer, which is obviously Adobe products, you start to think in terms of you're not a graphic designer, you're just an Adobe designer, and when the tool you use doesn't do the job, you just deem the job like it's not for me, it's not my job. So when you just take a step back and use other tools, it can be really interesting to rethink this by the tools. So if your touch designer person is on vacation, if they are sick or like, I know they're not on vacation, but maybe they're playing Elden Ring Night Rain a bit too much. So how should you proceed? And that's when I started also building some tools for the team, like doing visual identity, and then the art director and graphic designer I was working with didn't have touch designer knowledge. I could just build her a tool that enabled her to, like this top left one, just import any pictogram and then choose a shading, adjust some parameters, and export with the resolution of her choosing. And then she could just by herself do the 300 that she wanted to have. It's also something I started to transition into building for clients as well, because we've been building visual identities without building the tools for the client to build them. It's like we're selling this logo and these colors, but they need to call you back to just do about anything. So I think TouchDesigner is also a good tool to just empower the client into their own visual identity that you sell to them. So that was also something that far exceeded my expectation about the tool. And one last project that benefited from all of that is something Now Next Never, an exhibition about AI created by Fabrice Tarzinskas, which I work a lot with. And we used a TouchDesigner for all the steps of this project. So logotype, you have on the top right. Also signage on the bottom left, and you have also like the video on site. So if you have different kinds of display, you can just build one signage tool and hand them to the integration team, and then they can just, without asking you, change. So it was in Saudi Arabia, so have like the English text, the Arab text, and then it switch automatically with the 3D, and also change the ratios if the screen change. It's like if you've tried to do something live, you know that it's going to go not expected to, not as expected. So as much you can build your tools from the start, like from day one, it's kind of production ready, even if it's really bare bone. It's a great strategy and also a great mindset. And we had also exhibit pieces that ran on the same kind of the same framework and the same TouchDesigner project. So it was easy to be consistent across all of that. So this was for me really a project that expanded my understanding of, okay, this is about selling your project to your client, which was really easy because the curator was directly my friend and really trusting of my process. And yeah, when you sell it like that, it's really obvious the benefits of TouchDesigner as a design tool. Thank you. Thank you so much. And also, as Chandor said, I'm trying to organize more recurrent small workshops, also for my students, because we teach them to do VJing and live visuals. So I think we need to bring music and to have them just do it like in person. So yeah, this is something. Just stay tuned. I'm trying to organize that. We have the spot. We have like dates. So yeah.
Yeah, really great work. Great to see TouchDesigner used like that. And obviously, you're also a very good designer, so nice to see all that. I think we skip one question perhaps, and then we move to Cécile. Anybody?
I just want to say, first of all, amazing work. I'm just really interested to know your techniques for camera movement in what you showed us in Touch. Those animations looked amazing. Are you able to tell us a little bit about how you created those?
Is this in? So, also one funny thing about that is, as many of you guessed, like this TouchDesigner is like already like 3D. So I had a lot of reflection about how to manage camera movement, because at first it's something that you get. It's one of the points. It's really hard to get into coming into TouchDesigner first. So, for instance, if we look at what were they? So these ones, basically, it's just each geo has its position, and then we have a null comp that. So we take both the position of the queued, the one we want next, and the current one. We get the position and shuffle them, and then with the lookup chop, we just transition with a 0 to 1 value from one to the other. And when it gets to 1, it just, like the queued one is just the repeat, like the same. And we just have to put a next queue, and it just goes 0, 1. So this one is just lookup chop and look at in the camera. So it's really simple. And then you can do all sorts of easing with lag or this kind of stuff. So I really try to do stuff. I don't know about how it's more optimized than any of the stuff. I just find a way to make it work. And coming from visuals, as long as it stays like 60 FPS, it doesn't seem to be too dumb. That's good enough for me. So I guess like sometimes I share stuff online and I get like replies to my stories like, oh, this is really dumb what you're doing, by like some experienced users, like, yeah, okay, fair enough. But yeah, so look at like this is great. Also paying attention to the transform orders of your cameras, because if you rotate and move, it's something, but if you move and then rotate, you're going to pan around your subject without even having to look at. So this also like quick trick. Thank you so much.